All right, this is Sports for Real with Coach Hall. And unless you've been under a rock somewhere, you know that playoff madness has erupted. And it started on Thursday with the college football playoff semifinals. Miami edged Ole Miss. And then on Friday, Indiana completely destroyed Oregon. So we got the matchup next Monday, the 19th, when you have Indiana going for his first championship against Miami, looking for a championship, for a first championship that they hadn't had in a very long time. And the game is going to be played in Miami on the same field that the Hurricanes call home. I don't think home field advantage is going to make much of a difference in this case. The question is, how competitive will this game be? Miami, given the opportunity any team would want, is to be in a championship. And when you have one opportunity, you got one chance to win it. So they need to take full advantage of the opportunity that's before them. Indiana, the same thing. They've never been in this situation before, and they're playing the best football, but that doesn't guarantee them anything. But I think the situation actually bodes well for them because being from a cold place with bad weather, it doesn't matter what kind of weather you're going to have when you go play in Miami, because if it rains, you used to that kind of stuff, playing outside in the snow. And it's ironic that they're going to play in Miami because this is the third all-time matchup between these two particular schools, and they hadn't played since 1966. And as luck would have it, or fate would have it, the first two games were also in Miami. And the trend here is in these playoffs are to get matchups from teams that hadn't played in a long time. Last week, Miami played Ole Miss, and just like this game against Indiana, they didn't play them until the 1960s. So it's funny how things tend to go full circle. But let me go ahead and get this college football talk out of the way. With so much time between the games and with the way the games have gone, you know, all the pundits on TV always tend to come up with these different storylines and angles that put cloudy images on the game. Right now, out of nowhere, people are saying, well, how can Indiana get so good this fast? And they must be cheating. Indiana is cheating now. So when you think about the history of Indiana, how can you even equate the word cheating with Indiana over the years? But these people evidently have mastered how to put together a football team in the midst of all this chaos we call the NIL and transfer portal. So there's no cheating going on. The man is a good coach and he's put together a good football team. And the fact that you throw this cheating allegation out there actually helps Indiana because everybody's busting their arm, patting them on the back, saying how great they are. A lot of teams can get mentally soft behind such treatment. But when you throw in the fact that now you calling us a cheater, that's just going to re-galvanize them. And that bodes well for Indiana. So we'll see how they handle it. Now, I'd like to see what kind of game plan Miami is going to come up with to try to combat that. Because one thing that Miami has that they always have is the fact that they're going to play good defense. They're going to play good defense with quick, fast players. And that is an advantage that they always have. So they're going to need that advantage to figure out a way to slow down this Indiana team. Indiana is not one-dimensional. This is a full, complete team. Personally, I don't know why teams kick to each other. Miami can be down, and all of a sudden, those quick guys can get loose on a kick or a punt return and change the whole game. I'm not kicking to you. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you got a turtle back there returning the kick. I'm kicking it out of bounds, or it's going to be a squib, and you're not going to get much of a chance to do anything against me. But everybody else don't feel the same way I do. So I don't know if Indiana's going to kick it to Miami, but I wouldn't. I want to hold them all the way down. All right, let's see what's going on here. JC, how you doing, man? Selmo, what's going on, man? I don't know what's wrong with my poll. I don't seem to have any poll access anymore. I used to be able to put together a poll question, but they did something with the setup, and I don't see how to do that anymore. But I'm still operating from a mobile aspect when I get more opportunity to actually sit down and do it from a computer, that's what I'll be doing. And then you have all that access then. But on the phone, you don't have all that access. So I apologize for not having a poll question. For whatever reason, it hadn't been available to me. I figure out how it works though. But I just think that saying that these people are cheaters is not good. Good image for the whole sport. But what it did do, in my opinion, is bring Indiana back in and let them know that really it's still you guys against the world, and it regalvanized you moving forward. So I'd be interested to see this matchup and all the things that take place or what comes out as the game gets closer. Now, this weekend, we've seen some surprises. We only had two teams out of the last night. New England won. That gave the home teams their second win out of 5. Before that, they were down 3-1. Pittsburgh again plays tonight against Houston. More on that in a second. But Carolina losing to the Rams, that's not a surprise. How close the game was, to me, was a surprise, even though Carolina actually beat the Rams a couple weeks ago. Yesterday, then you had Jacksonville losing to Buffalo, which there's a lot of people is a surprise because everybody had Buffalo as a struggling team that was pretty much dead. Well, anytime you make it to the playoffs, everybody's record is 0-0. So what you did up to that point really don't matter that much, other than the fact of what venue you're going to be playing that game in. Buffalo, they still have enough weapons to cause a problem, especially when you have James Cook, the reigning rushing champ, and Josh Allen is always a threat. I guess Jacksonville didn't think he was going to run very much because he's supposed to have a bad foot. Well, shoot that foot up, let's go play. And evidently, that's what Allen must have done because he ran enough to be effective and led the team to a victory. Now, I've been told by dealing with the people at Fango Media that the Jaguars go as Trevor Lawrence go. And evidently, he did not have a very good game yesterday. And that was culminated by the interception at the end. It's not all on Trevor. There's some more drop passes. The same things that caused him to lose early in the year is the reason why they lost yesterday. And but overall, as a Jaguar fan, not me, but if you're a Jaguar fan, then you have to be satisfied or happy with the progress the team made in such a short period of time under this new regime. But yesterday, it just wasn't meant to be. In the middle game, you had Frisco edging out Philadelphia. Philadelphia's internal problems finally caused them to lose a game. They could not overcome it on the field. Those drop passes, the uneven flow of the way these guys are getting along with each other. Eventually, that caught up to them, and now the Eagles, they're gone, and that's going to send San Francisco back to Seattle, where they were last week, to determine who was going to win the division. So that's going to be another barn burner. And then the second game, you're going to have Chicago hosting, and who's the other team? Chicago is going to host the Rams. Now, the Bears, they were trailing big time against the Packers, but the Packers allowed them to come back. Now, there's a double theme there. The Packers lost some games or tied a game earlier when they had big leads and ended up blowing it. And that's how they ended up getting that 7th seed. They should have been higher, and the Bears should have been lower, but they've been stealing games all year long. They get hot in the fourth quarter and come back and do just enough to win the game. Same thing with the Chiefs last year. Eventually, that kind of behavior catches up to you. If you can't play an even game in the playoffs and you depending on trying to come back every time, it's not going to happen. And that's what's going to happen to the Bears. At some point, they're going to get to against a team that isn't going to be any coming back. If they fall behind big to the Rams, it's going to be a blowout. And it's also a reason why that you should have, when you have a team down, you need to stomp on them. Because the Bears, they get into the post-game conference and talk like, well, we knew we had it and we galvanized and a bunch of BS when they know they just got lucky enough to come back and win the game. But that's going to catch up to them. But tonight's big game, Pittsburgh is hosting the red-hot Houston Texans. Houston is so hot that everybody is feeling sorry for Pittsburgh because they think that Pittsburgh doesn't have a chance against Houston. They won 9 straight. They got the best defense in the league, and blah, blah, blah. Well, that don't mean a damn thing to me. And I'll tell you why. You can just look back to Jacksonville. They were saying the same kind of things about Jacksonville. This team is together. They're playing the best football in the league, and they're primed for a Super Bowl run. What happens? Bam, they get knocked off. But even more so than that, Jacksonville is a better team than Houston. Houston didn't want to see Jacksonville because they know what Jacksonville will do for them. They're a better team than Houston this year. Now, Houston, they won 9 straight. They're coming into Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's not given a chance. And I'm going to tell you right now, I look for Pittsburgh to knock off Houston, primarily because they're not getting respect. Secondly, by not having DK Metcalf and having those receivers step up in that second half last week against Baltimore, lets you know what can be done with that Steelers offense. Bring back a motivated DK Metcalf tonight, and then the Pittsburgh has an opportunity to do something they hadn't done all year, and that is to be highly productive on offense. They're going to need that because this team is supposed to be so invincible that they're just going to destroy Pittsburgh. And if they struggle any kind of way, they might just get shut out by this team called the Texans. Well, I've seen that before. I've heard it all before. And it always ended up being the same. It don't mean a damn thing because what you did in the regular season don't mean nothing. When it's do or die and lives and careers and the season is on the line is when you start to see the real players step up. I saw that last week from Pittsburgh for the first time all year long. And let me say something else about this people being fearful of Pittsburgh tonight. I felt that way one time before, and I was correct. Back when the Falcons had Matt Ryan and they were red hot that year, it's the same year they lost to New England in the Super Bowl. Pittsburgh lost to New England in the AFC Championship game. I was happy that Pittsburgh lost that game because I didn't think that Pittsburgh couldn't match up to what the Falcons were doing on offense. And I was proved correct the way they jumped out and jumped on New England and about to blow them out of the stadium. The same kind of thing would have happened to Pittsburgh, and I didn't want to see them get embarrassed like that in a Super Bowl setting. Well, the reason why the Falcons didn't win the Super Bowl is because they have Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan is the reason why they didn't win the Super Bowl. They went ultra-conservative, and he's making some decisions that end up costing his team the momentum that allowed New England to come back and send it in overtime and win the damn game. It's the same kind of thing he's been doing in San Francisco. So a lot of times these coaches can mess you up. And that's been the 49ers/Falcons problem. But when I see people talking about teams like Pittsburgh don't have a chance, those are the teams that had the best chance because they're already looking past Pittsburgh and putting Houston in another bracket. And you can't do that in the NFL. And it's been proven lots of times. Every time you try to put somebody ahead like that, they end up getting beat. So you keep an eye on that tonight when the Steelers host the Texans for that last spot in the divisional rounds. Selmo says they're the Squealers. Well, maybe so. And Caleb, I don't know if you're a Brown fan all of a sudden, Selmo. I thought a Bears fan. But Caleb, he's gotten lucky. And again, that comeback stuff is going to come back and crack them right on top of the head. So they can enjoy it while they can, but it ain't going to last. And believe me when I tell you. And JC had said Indiana is explosive. I don't see that all year I didn't see that all year from them. Okay, I get what you're saying. Reason why you hadn't seen this level of explosiveness is because these guys are getting better at what they're doing. They are actually rising. Everybody else is on one level. Indiana is on another. So it's going to take a Herculean effort or divine intervention to stop this team from achieving their goals. Now, that's not to say that Miami could be a better team. We don't know. but that's why you play the game. But the way they're playing, if they could continue to play like that, then they're going to make short work of Miami. Miami hasn't been hitting really on all cylinders. The Ohio State matchup was actually perfect for him because the quarterback, he couldn't escape. But a guy like Trinidad Chambers, he can get away from the Miami rush. And that is the reason why he was able to be effective. But the difference in that game, really, Miami actually dominated Ole Miss because they control the line of scrimmage. They're going to need to do the same thing against Indiana if they expect to win. And Indiana's the way that Oregon was able to move the ball somewhat, and Alabama to a certain extent was they didn't know what they were trying to do to him. Once they figured out what they were trying to do to him, then they can start taking that apart, which is why I tell you before, Texas Tech has got the best defense in the nation, but he had a jackleg quarterback. And he turned the ball over. If they just scored 10 points, and they whip Oregon. I don't think they would have been able to slow Indiana down as much, but I don't see Texas Tech giving up 50 points to Indiana offense either. But if you don't have both sides of the ball, then you can't play. And we've been finding that out the last 2 rounds in the college football playoffs. So if the Steelers lose tonight, do you think Tomlin will get fired? No, I don't. My understanding is that when Harbaugh was fired, that left 6 vacancies, and he got contacted by 7 teams, which means that one team out there with a head coach was inquiring about his services. So I think because Tomlin beat Harbaugh and he's got his team playing pretty decent right now, he pretty much determined where he wants to go. I think it would be a bad move if Pittsburgh was to get rid of him. But as far as a fresh message and all of that, it's the same situation as you have in Baltimore. But Pittsburgh did make the playoffs, and they're making things exciting. And that's all you can really ask for is a chance to win in the postseason. And just because you rank number 1, that don't guarantee you anything. Everybody's on equal footing right now. So anyway, I don't think he's going to get fired to answer your question. But if he's going to walk away, I think that'll be the only reason they'll cut him loose because they're still getting out of him what they want. A competitive team, they're in the playoffs, they got a chance. What more do you want? I mean, the fans get tired of the same old, and that'd be one reason why Tomlin might move on. But I think that decision would be his, not the team's. But unless he's tired of coaching and want to go into the broadcast booth, why would you leave? Don't make sense. All right, Steelers lose, heads are rolling. Maybe, we'll see. But I don't think so, Selmo. I just don't think he's going anywhere. I think he's the type of coach that's going to do things on his own mindset. And when people started talking and pushing him out, that'll be the main reason why he would come back, not because he want to do it anymore. Pittsburgh will lose tonight? No, they're not going to lose tonight. You must be talking about the Panthers on the basketball court, but not the Steelers. And we're going to beat Houston. Everybody's talking about how great they are. Well, Jacksonville was talking about how great they were. Where are they now? They had won 8 straight. Texans won 9 straight. And the 9th win they got was the first one that they should have lost against Jacksonville. So the same things that you did in the regular season are going to crop up in the playoffs. That's what happened to Jacksonville. That's what's going to happen to Houston. Pittsburgh's going to win this game tonight. If they don't win, I'll be back on in the morning and I'll tell you I picked Pittsburgh to win the game, and I stand all the way behind it. So we're going to roll with that. Anyway, didn't have much time. I just wanted to come on and talk a little bit about what happened over the weekend. And I'm kind of disappointed in what people are saying about Indiana claiming that they're cheating and all this other kind of stuff. And I got a problem with that. Now, breaking news. I went out yesterday with Fango Media. If you just go to fangomedia.com, you can look at all the latest videos. We talked to fans just like you after the games in an emotional state about how they felt about what they just saw. Well, I just got the news that the video that I did yesterday is now available. It's been made available right now. It just came out. So if you don't go to fangomedia.com, you can hit my collaborative tab, and it's going to show up there. And you can even actually watch the video before I do. I didn't even have time to watch it. But it should be a good one because the fans down here, kind of wobbly. When they win, they're on top of the world. They go to the Super Bowl. When they lose, it's something completely different. But a lot of fans were gracious. The Buffalo fans were gracious to the city of Jacksonville about the way they were treated. Because you go into a lot of these stadiums with the other team's jersey on, you're going to be harassed by the fans. And the younger they are, the more harassment you're going to get. But the Buffalo fans saying that wasn't the case yesterday in Jacksonville. And I saw a lot of that myself. So we'll take credit for that, the hospitality down here. And but go and check that video out. And unless there's some breaking news on, I'll catch you guys in the morning. Hopefully, I come on tonight and do some simulcasting while the game is going on. But I'm telling you right now, Pittsburgh is going to be able to move the football against Houston. They're going to keep them off balance, and they're going to score enough points to win this game. Now, while everybody's talking about Pittsburgh having trouble scoring, Houston offense is not setting the world on fire. Now, if they had an offense that's scoring 30 points a game and the defense knocking people out like they claim to be, then Pittsburgh might be in trouble. But remember, Jacksonville was doing the same thing. Look what happened to them. Watch what happened tonight when Pittsburgh show up. It's almost like people treating them like they're a college team playing against a pro team. A mismatch. Well, it's going to be a mismatch. And you're about to find out. Pittsburgh, we will be going to Denver next week. No. New England next week because Denver is going to be hosting Buffalo. So mark my word on that. But anyway, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Like and subscribe. I got some new basketball videos out there. One of them that's gaining traction right now is I had a call. Guy had a buzzer beaten shot, but it was clear to me that I don't think he got the shot off. And I didn't see while I was filming it that the guy had actually looked like he went up and down, called his own shot, ran out to the three-point line, and then let the shot go. And then the officials, I won't tell you what the officials did. But go and watch that video. It's called "Did This Shot Beat the Buzzer?" And a lot of people are talking about it. And regardless of whether you think it was good or not, this is the kind of officiating that you get in a lot of these high school associations, and they determine who wins or loses a lot of time. And when you go back and look at the call itself, it was obvious that they didn't get it right, and they don't get it right a lot of the times. But that doesn't do anything for the teams at that time that lose based on bad calls by the officials. So keep that in mind. But did this shot beat the clock is the question. All right. Again, you guys have a great day. This is Sports for Real. I'm out of here. And I'm going to be doing a little bit more stuff on TikTok. And follow me at TikTok at Sports for Real. Follow me there. That would be great. And like I say, unless there's some breaking news, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. I'd like to come in and do some simulcasting tonight with the Steelers game. But I can't guarantee that. But I'll be back tomorrow. So you guys have a great day. This is Sports for Real. I'm out. JC, Selmo, you make sure you watch them Steelers tonight, man. We're going to knock off the Texans. I'm telling you.